I'm here with Tim Canova. Tim Canova, of course, very popular progressive, ran against Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He lost by 13,000 votes. Of course, the integrity of those votes have been challenged, and of course, there's been a lot of chicanery happening with the vote.
Yeah, actually, we lost by about 6,000 votes. So, officially, so a shift of 3,000 votes,
really?
We would have won. So it wasn't that bad an effort, even if it wasn't an accurate count.
So how did it go from 13,000 to 6?
No, it was 13 percentage points.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misheard you when you said that, and then I repeated it incorrectly.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6,000 votes.
Yes, approximately.
How many votes did she get total? Can you tell me? Close. Just give me a ballpark.
Somewhere between 25 and 30,000, I believe.
So 25 and 30,000 votes is all it takes to become a congressperson.
Well, and this is another part of the problem, Jimmy. This is a closed primary. I know a lot of folks have problems with the kind of open jungle primary here in California. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you, in Florida, it's a closed primary. They hide the primary at the end of August, in the dog days of August, when you get a very low voter turnout. The voter turnouts are, we're talking about sometimes single-digit voter turnouts. And the only folks who can vote in my primary are Democrats. Now, at a time when, what do they say, 70% or more of millennials are independent voters now.
Right.
So, we have been pushing for an open primary referendum in Florida. It's gotten a lot of steam. There's a Constitution Revision Commission that has considered over 2,000 proposals, and they're down to 6 proposals. Open primaries is one of them. So it might be on the ballot in Florida in 2018, November of 2018, for voters to vote for, open primaries. And my group, not just the campaign, we have a group called Progress for All. We joined with open primaries and free and fair elections. We did a statewide survey of voters. Supermajorities of Democrats, Republicans, and independents all want open primaries in Florida. So the system might start opening up and changing. Not in time for my election. I'm faced with a choice of either running as a Democrat in a closed primary or running as an independent and being on the ballot in November.
So that's my question. Yeah. Why keep trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip? This Democratic Party is cheating progressives, and they're not going to stop cheating progressives or smearing them, by the way. So if the majority of millennials, the majority of the country considers themselves independent, or not, but a plurality, consider themselves independent. Why not run as an independent?
Well, this district has been gerrymandered and by Wasserman Schultz and her cronies themselves, and it's been gerrymandered to be one of the bluest districts in the country. So registered Democrats outnumber Republicans by about 2 to 1, and independents probably also are outnumbered by Democrats by about 2 to 1 there. So there are risks in trying to run in this particular gerrymandered district as anything but a Democrat. It doesn't mean I won't do that. I haven't made up my mind. I want to see how party officials and party rank and file, party stalwarts all over both Miami-Dade and Broward County, our district straddles these two counties, how they react and respond to this scandal, this really shameful scandal about the destruction of the ballots here, and whether they are going to join me in calling for the removal of the supervisor of elections. It's mind-boggling to think that this supervisor could actually be supervising my next election,
right?
And to be calling for criminal investigations. And this is a test for the Democratic Party in Florida right now.
So when you say the progressives inside politics have wag their finger at you for calling for a recount, why do you think they're doing that? Why, I don't need you to name names of who they are or anything, but why are they doing that? And are they actually progressives?
Well, I don't know the answer to the latter question. I've come to believe that some of these consultants inside the Beltway, and some of them are at firms that helped us raise money through social media campaigns and email fundraising campaigns. Perhaps their ties to other folks inside that Beltway are just a lot stronger than their commitment to a candidate 1,000 miles away running an insurgent campaign.
Okay, that's okay. That's all I can think of. So are you? It looks like you have name recognition this time, right?
Absolutely,
which you didn't have last time. You lost by 6,000 votes, so we really only have to switch 3,001 votes.
Exactly.
So that's very doable.
I think it's very doable. I like our chances a lot. It's going to be a more challenging environment to raise money than it was in 2016. And, we are urging folks to go online to timcanova.com and, show us some love, just small donations, and spread the word. Last time we had a big field operation. We had 4 field offices and more than 60 full-time workers and a couple of hundred volunteers knocking on a lot of doors. This time we might do it with a lot more volunteers than last time, but we have a lot of name recognition. I announced 2 years ago yesterday when I jumped in last time, and nobody knew who I was. Really, all we had was I filed with the Federal Election Commission. We had launched a website and a Facebook page and crossed our fingers and hoped for the best. But Wasserman Schultz is not popular in South Florida, and I think this is one of the myths that the corporate media continues to repeat, that she's invincible, that she can't be beaten, that she's a fixture there. Well, I'll tell you, even if you accept the official results, that means somebody who came out of nowhere, who had no name recognition, in less than 8 months running against the head of the Democratic National Committee, a person who had the support of the President of the United States, the Vice President, and the presumed future President of the United States. Everyone assumed Hillary Clinton was going to win and that Wasserman Schultz would be a very important person in that administration. We still almost beat her.
Yes.
So I like our chances a lot. All of the issues break our way, and it did last time. And that's because I'm not beholden to any of these special interests that Wasserman Schultz is. She takes money from the fossil fuel industry, and she's absolutely mealy-mouthed about fracking. We've been very clear. You should not be fracking in the state of Florida. We want a ban on fracking. We're very critical of the drug war. We were supportive of medicinal marijuana, a referendum that passed in August of 2016 with a supermajority vote of the state of Florida. 73% of the state, I believe, voted for it. Wasserman Schultz, who takes money from all the big pharma, she was against medicinal marijuana.
She couldn't be less of a populist.
Solar energy, payday lending.
So I wanted to ask, so the WikiLeaks also revealed that people inside the Clinton campaign know that she does poorly on television, meaning that when she goes on television, her personality is repulsive to most of the people who are watching. Yet she continues to go on television and represent the Democratic Party. And I made the point that if she really gave a crap about anything besides herself, she would stop doing that.
Right.
She would stop representing the Democratic Party on television. Now, I haven't seen her on a bunch lately, but she was on television ubiquitous, nonstop up until just a few months ago. I would see her all over the place. And I had to make that point. They know that people hate her. They know that when she goes on TV, she actually hurts her cause. It would be better if she didn't go on TV, yet she still goes on TV. And do you need any more of an indication what a narcissistic egomaniac that person is? Because she knows it's hurting her party and her cause, yet she still goes on TV. That's exactly who they are. Same thing with Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi knows that Republicans in the middle of the country and other places, they don't run against their opponent. They run against Nancy Pelosi, and they win. Right? And so we've known this for a while. She knows that she's also a drag on the party. They lost 1,000 seats nationwide. They blamed Susan Sarandon for Donald Trump. But how do you explain the 1,000 seats nationwide they lost, right?
2010, 2014. Right. This is a party in the weakest position it's been since 98 years. 98 years, wow. 1920, as far as how weak they are in the U.S. House of Representatives, the Senate, and state legislatures.
Yeah, and but it's mostly Susan Sarandon's fault, or Jill Stein, or someone else with no money and no power. I'm going to guess it's someone else with no money.
I've been blamed for it myself, to tell you the truth.
Oh, yeah?
Canova's the problem in the party. You should just sit down, don't challenge.
Right.
We don't want primary challenges because it weakens the incumbent somehow.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, well, hey, if you got a bad platform, we got to get rid of you. And she has a horrible platform. She's in bed with payday lenders. That's the scum of the earth, those people. Yeah. And she got no problem taking their money and doing their bidding.
That's right.
And not enough people know about it, but we try to get the word out here.
Well, you do a good job getting the word.
Well, thanks. So how are you going to run? Are you going to run a little differently this time? Are you doing anything different?
I think build on what we did last time. We accomplished a lot. I've got a lot more name recognition. We might not need as many billboards and TV commercials. I'll be out there knocking on doors. I already have started. And everywhere I go, I'm getting a good reception, to tell you the truth, within the district. There are a lot of groups that want to see me speak and want to hear what I have to say. And I can go anywhere and answer questions that anyone poses to me. And that's an advantage I have over my opponent. She's got to be careful what she says.
Yes.
She's got to be careful who's in the room, what kind of questions she'll be asked. And I think this is one of the reasons we don't see her on TV as much anymore.
Right.
Does she want to be on TV and be asked about the Awan IT scandal?
That's right.
There's all kinds of scandals she's been involved in now that have been revealed, some by WikiLeaks and elsewhere.
So I'm not well versed on the Awan scandal. I know that. So what do you know about it?
Well, probably mostly what others do know, that Awan was being investigated. I think it was reported early in 2017. And when it was first reported, it wasn't just for bank fraud. It was for cyber crimes, that he had the keys to, the passcodes and everything to about 24 House Democrats, including, I think, all the members of the House Intelligence Committee.
Yes.
And every Democratic member he was doing work for promptly fired him, except Wasserman Schultz, who kept him on the payroll. And that raised a lot of eyebrows. And then I think it was probably around May of 2017, there was that classic scene.
They found her the computer of Awan,
that's right.
And the Capitol Police were investigating it, and she was in a video with the head of the Capitol Police, or the chief of the Capitol Police, and she said, "I want that computer back." And he's like, "You can't have it back. It's the subject of an investigation,
Exactly.
And when we're done with our investigation, we'll give it back to you."
Exactly.
And she kept saying, "Well, you're going to pay a price for that when funding comes.
There will be consequences."
There will be consequences. So she's threatening. She's threatening the Capitol Police for doing the right thing, meaning the investigation. She wants them to not do the right thing because she's What are you covering up?
And she was asserting that it was her laptop and not Awan's.
Yes, she was saying it was her property, which it wasn't.
Exactly. And now that it looks like the Capitol Police, presumably, and maybe the Justice Department are hopefully actually investigating the contents on that laptop, I think Wasserman Schultz's spokesperson has tried to distance herself. Well, it really wasn't her property.
Yeah, that was quite a piece of tape. I don't know if everyone has seen that. Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, good that we need more people. We need more progressives. We need people who aren't beholden to big money in politics. You aren't taking corporate money.
Not a penny. Never have.
And
Jimmy, before I jumped in, I'm not a professional politician. You mentioned I'm a law professor for the past 20 years. And my area of study and scholarship as a professor was the financial markets, was the regulation of Wall Street and international trade. And I've got a written record that goes back more than 20 years of critical of the deregulation of Wall Street. I was critical of it going back to the 1980s deregulations, where interest rates were deregulated, where lending standards were deregulated, where adjustable rate mortgages were first essentially allowed, permitted during the Reagan administration. I was against getting rid of the Glass-Steagall Act during the Clinton administration, deregulating financial derivatives during the Clinton administration. I was against the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I was critical of the North American Free Trade Agreement. So I was an Occupy Los Angeles activist when I was a law professor at Chapman University in Orange County, California.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, I've been attracted to this fight for all the right reasons. And I think we need ordinary citizens just stepping up and challenging these folks. I'm not looking for a long career on Capitol Hill. I'm looking to be part of a big movement, a big wave where we can start changing things in this country.
Yeah, we need a wave. Yeah. And a wave can come progressive. The problem is the corporate Democrats are mealy-mouthing it again. Yeah. They have no bold economic plan like they said they were going to have. They don't have one. They're not for. We just did a thing, Chuck Schumer, not even for single payer.
I know. He's not for single payer. When it comes to infrastructure, they have no plan on how to get this done. They're still tied to the pay-as-you-go rules. If you're going to go pay-as-you-go, it means every dollar you're spending on infrastructure, where's it going to come from?
Right.
Medicare and Social Security?
Right.
And, as a scholar, I've been writing for years about the need for an infrastructure bank. Every major industrialized country has it. Germany, Japan, China, you name it. And the United States of America used to have one. It was called the Reconstruction Finance Corporation during the New Deal, and it invested more than $50 billion, a lot of it in grants, not just building the Midtown Tunnel and major bridges and highways and seaports and airports and sewage systems, but even subsidizing school teacher salaries in Chicago during the Great Depression. This is what we need. When I say we need a New Deal, Let's model it right on the New Deal that this country had in the past. You could have a national infrastructure bank. Get the Federal Reserve to start funding that national infrastructure bank, so it doesn't even have to come out of the taxpayer pocket. The Federal Reserve had trillions of dollars that didn't come out of taxpayer wallets because the Fed can create that money out of thin air. It did that for Wall Street.
Right.
It should be doing it for Main Street.
It won't. Yeah. That's so. Well, I said after when there was the 2008 crisis and Barack Obama became president, I'm like, there's already a template for how to deal with this. It's called the New Deal.
Exactly.
And he never would even mention FDR.
That's right.
He'd never mention the New Deal or FDR. He would mention Ronald Reagan.
And you look at the economists he surrounded himself with: Larry Summers, Austin
Right.
Goolsbee,
the guys who drove us into the ditch.
Exactly.
And he said you can't have the same people drive you out of the ditch who drove us in. And Barack Obama got the same people who drove us into the ditch.
That's right.
And everybody was cool with it.
Yeah.
So my whole hope is that Trump is so offensive to the American people is that they wake up and they start paying attention to the horrible stuff that both parties, the neoliberals, have been doing, the neocons, neoliberals. It's the party of money, and which is why we need progressives. And well, listen, Tim, anything else you want to say to our before we say goodbye?
Just to thank you for having me on. I'm a loyal, faithful viewer of yours. Keep up the great work. I love that you're questioning the official narratives, all the bullshit that comes out. I love that you're doing that, and more folks have to be doing it. And to just urge your viewers to throw some love our way, to go to timcanova.com. Every little bit helps, and we're counting on the grassroots support. I always say that I'm bought and paid for by the American people because they're the only folks I take the money from. All
right. Tim Canova. Everybody, check out the link we'll put right there. And if you can volunteer or help, we need more progressives. Thanks for your time, buddy.